What's up, YouTube? It's RainingCardGames, and welcome to another episode of Sealed Only Dragunity. So, before we go ahead and jump into the product, got a few wee announcements that we want to talk about. First things first, as I'm sure some of you have seen already, there's news floating around on the Yugioh online scene. There were some leaks for the new Ghost Rare set coming out in March of 2021. And then Konami also said there are going to be Dragunity cards in this set. And when was the expected date that we would have probably gotten the reprinted, reloaded structure deck? In March. So do you know what that means? We're probably not getting a Dragunity structure deck. And the new cards are going to have to be pulled and not guaranteed in this set. And knowing that I started this challenge with these two structure decks and a Rocket Revolt structure deck, I'd like to think that I dodged a bullet there.
I am the smart. I am the smart. I am the smart. I am the smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T.
But knowing my luck, and the fact that in pretty much every single set, Dragunities are short printed. Konami just wants to make my challenge and my life hard and my wallet hurt. Content. Anyway, I would also like to point out that I think now that, we're kind of getting into the groove of things, I've got a more set streaming schedule, so Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be streaming here on YouTube, and that will be just EDO live stream, so you can come on over and play me in EDO Pro. And I usually pick a deck. It's not always the same deck every week and week out. You can just chill, hang out, so keep in mind that. And then also, I am starting up a Twitch channel, so be sure to follow me. Link down below in the description. And I'm still working on a streaming schedule for that, but I'll update you guys in future content. And then finally, another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Wilderness is on the horizon next week. We are going northward for this episode. Anyway, enough of me talking. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, you guys, because likes and comments really help the algorithm and help make this video more accessible to the entire YouTube atmosphere. And that way, the video gets more interaction, and then that helps me out in turn. And so that means I can continue to bring this kind of content to you guys. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and then also share the video as well. Check out all the links and all that fun stuff to support. Regardless, it is time to go and open some product. Okay, so for today, we've got an assortment of packs, all totaling up to a lovely $40, with these two packs taking more than half of the entire value of today's opening. That's how crazy expensive the Kaiba Mega Pack is, but we do need planks, so it is completely worth it. So what we are going to do is we're going to organize it like so. Aha! So we'll just alternate between the packs, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Come on. We are looking for a common. Divine Lance comes in this pack as a common. Should be doable. Illusion Balloons, Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer, Performapal Call, Infernoid Atondel, Doggy Diver, Yasenju Sujik, Ball of Destruction, Super Heavy Samurai Soul Bees, Ritual Beast Ambush. Yeah, back to the start. Okay. Bunch of commons can go in a common pile. Rares can go in a rare pile, and then we'll move on to Battles of Legend. We want Dragunity Knight Gator. We now have a Crystal Wing, so literally the thing we're only looking for in this set now is that an ultra rare, which should be doable, hopefully. I say that now. Setting on the Time Lord, Destiny Hero Dreamer, Giant Rex. Not the synchro we wanted. DDD Doom King Super Doom King Bright Armageddon. You know what? This is not a once per turn, so, well, it's a soft once per turn, so we can run multiple. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Just, why not? Ultra rares. Wow. I wasn't even... Oh my god. Alright. But can we pull a common? Come on. Can we pull a common? Perform Pal Part Naga. Last minute cancel. Blaze Accelerator Reload. Toy Knight. No. Libic Malbranche of the Burning Abyss. Unizombie. Infornoid Seismitoser. Raid Raptor Readiness. Unpossessed. Ready for that Charmer structure deck that comes out soon. Yeah. Okay. But now here's where we get into the tricky situation. Can we pull a short print? That is Phalanx. If we pull Phalanx... Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Come on. Sea Crush Wyvern. The maiden with the eyes of blue. Blue eyes is a girl, you guys. Soul Exchange. Koiba. Man. Mausoleum of White, Ring of Destruction, Tyrant Burst Dragon, Protector with the Eyes Blue, Dragon Spirit of White. That's pretty cool secret rare to pull, and Cost Down. Okay. Unfortunately, that pack, 'twas a dud. I mean, value-wise, it's pretty okay. But, yeah, I digress. Let's try for a common once again. Come on, give me something good. Wall of Disruption, Super Heavy Samurai, Soul Beady Weedies, Ritual Beast Ambush, Raid Raptor Rise Falcon, UA Blockbacker, Illusion Balloons, Despot 003, Perform Pal Parnaga. No, Raid. I like my Raid Raptor stuff. Can't wait. Phantom Rage, all that Raid Raptor support. Battle's a Legend, come on. Dragunity Knight Gaydurg. Okay. Perform Pal, 5 Rainbow Magician. Vanity's Ruler, okay. Or Fiend, sorry. Abyss Script, blah 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 blah. Zaphion and Sage, okay. Battle's a Legend. Was a dud. We have not pulled the super yet, so we'll put that there. We're down to the last 2 packs. Come on, all I have to show for it is the Crystal Wing. I already have one. This is the last Secrets of Eternity for today. Come on, if I can just pull a stinking common. Go Talisman. Morphtronic Smart Font. Perform Pal, Fire Muffler Lion. Yosenju Tizuza. UA Turnover Tactics. Perform Pal Call. Spiritual Beats Rampage You. Double. No! Why is it so hard to pull a common? What does Double Trap Hole do? Opponent special summons a monster in defense position. Banish those monsters. Too situational. Oh my god. This is our last pack. Here we go. Last pack. Can we pull Dragunity Phalanx? But first, a word from our sponsor, Raid Shadow. Sorry. Dad. I will take a dad. Flute of Summoning Dragon. Okay. Now here we go into the Ultras. This is where it's crunch time. Mirror Force Dragon. VW Tiger Catapult. Vampire Lord. Heavy Metal Support. Ring of Destruction. No! Melody of Awakening Dragon. Burst Stream of Destruction. Another dud pack. So gentlemen. From all these packs, all we have really to show for is a beautiful Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. We already have one, Now I have to find some way to turbo out 2 of these guys, which will be difficult. Yeah. Well, I guess time to go see what we can do with our current card pool. Alright, so taking a look at the deck, you can see some interesting new additions. We have added World Legacy World Crown as a 3 of in our deck. My reasoning behind this is A, it can special summon itself for free to a zone a link monster points to, so it's a free extender, and B, it is a negate. It is, so essentially when a monster from the extra deck activates its effect, you contribute the World Crown to negate the effect and destroy it. It's a form of interruption, and it also can enable me to go into Ultimate Zolkin as long as I can get into Dragunity Knight Lewin. So we're going for a more going first oriented build, because you also notice we have the Lost Wind and the Breakthrough skill. So hopefully we're able to pull off some wins. And then in the extra deck, you can notice that we've added Vampire Xyz monster as a poor man's Dingirsu. So we're going to experiment with this going first build. So that's the deck. Yeah. It's kind of interesting when you have you don't really have any new additions to the card pool. So I kind of had to get creative. So we'll see how that turns out. And I'm just hoping that some of my ideas work. So let's do this. Alrighty, so for game number 1, we're going against Patron J-Chip from the J-Chip Show, and it's a triple set pass. So this is looking pretty promising. Even though we didn't go first as we wanted to, we can still definitely make an impact going second. So I go ahead and start things off by getting my Dragon Ravine to hand, which gets me some setup, and that gets me a Rocket Synchron, which gives me future plays if I want to go into anything like a Link play or a Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. But instead, I decided to go with my normal summon and use that to go into Ducks, and then I can go into my Gaebolg for some battle damage, and then using Rocket Tracer's effect, I'm basically just popping off and assembling as much advantage on the field as possible so that I can go into Borreload and take his set monster, which also, I just want to say, I do not like how Yugioh Pro organizes some of its effects, because it basically, it doesn't say which effect of Borreload was activating, even though I was entering the battle phase declaring my attack. And then when I said, do I want to activate Borreload's effect? Of course I do. And it turns out it was the decrease by 500, which the only other target I had was my Gaebolg, which I was kind of annoyed at. And it is a reoccurring theme in this duel just because they just write question mark, question mark, question mark for the effects. Regardless, Borreload is a very good monster going up against these set Shaddoll monsters, which I can just take and then preventing his effects from popping off and them going straight to the graveyard immediately until later on. But yeah, no, the kicker is that Borreload, because of Yugioh Pro's stupid way they organize effects, is weakening my Gaebolg, which actually does cost me some damage output, it also forces me to waste resources in the graveyard so that I can boost his attack up so that I can actually do some damage, but it's really annoying, and I feel it did slow my game set down. But luckily, that stolen Squamata, I can pop his own monster. Turns out, though, I popped a Squamata of his own, so it's like he still gets to use a Squamata. Hooray! Regardless, Borreload in this matchup is great, and because Gaebolg was already just too weak, I just go ahead and tribute summon my Dragon Arm Leviathan, and using its effect to bring back my Kus so I can go and synchro up into a Lewin. And then I decided, you know what, let's make my Leviathan a bit more beefy by equipping it with a Lewin based off its graveyard effect, which gives it an extra 1,000. So he is at a hefty 3,600 attack points. But keep in mind, this is Shaddoll. This deck, once it gets its engine going, is very resilient.
And he's able to first out my Armaleviton, but because it was destroyed by card effect, it's able to special summon out the Loon that was equipped to it, and then Loon equips a Koos that hopefully I can bring back on future turns. And then he brings out his Cross Sheep, which then he goes into fusion shenanigans by bringing out Mommy Construct. And yeah, I'm worried because Construct is an out to pretty much my entire board, because whenever it attacks a monster that was special summoned, it will just destroy it before damage calculation. And then I see the Super Poly hit. That gets rid of my Boar Load, and that brings out Shaddoll Winda. That is going to be a very difficult monster to out. Luckily, though, I do have Tempest in the graveyard, so I special summon him out, and I beat over the Winda. But when Winda goes to the graveyard, he just goes ahead and adds back an El Sadal Fusion. And then he brings back the Winda using the Rishadal trap card, and we're back to square one again with the Winda on the field, limiting each of us to one special summon per turn. He brings out an Alter Art El Shaddoll Construct, and just continues to go to the races and just clears out my entire board. And yeah, we are back to square one again. And also I take a few 700 points of damage from the Cross Sheep. That is minor compared to the bigger problem, which is I have to deal with the Winda again. And because whenever it goes to the graveyard, it adds a Shaddoll spell or trap card, he can just repeat the entire process over. So it's literally me just struggling and treading water to stay afloat by just beating over the Winda with Tempest, and then trying to build a board once again with what limited resources I have. However, I can't, and I just scoop, and we move on to game 2. So I decide to, let's slow him down completely. I threw in a whole bunch of trap cards just to stop him from getting his plays going. And I am lucky enough to see 2 of them thanks to my Cards of Consonance. But I don't have too much more ways to extend in terms of the monster lineup, so by setting a Lost Wind and a Dimensional Fissure and ending on a Gaybulk, I'm confident I can survive the turn, especially when activating the D barrier and declaring fusions, which essentially shuts down his entire plays. However, do keep in mind Shaddoll monsters are flipped monsters, and they do have effects when they're flipped up, so even if I go and destroy them by battle, he's going to get some advantage generated in some way. Now, at this point, I can't really do much because while I do have access to a tuner and a level 6, so I can go into Ultimate Zolkin, I don't have any spell or traps to set to trigger its effect, so I can bring out a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which would have been very beneficial because that would have helped me essentially negate some of his effects. He uses Shaddoll Dragon to pop the Lewin, which just leaves me with a Lanfarincus on field, which honestly does not do much for me. And Lanfarincus is also fusion fodder, so he's able to go into El Shaddoll Construct, leaving me with an open board. I, though, hit him with the Lost Wind, which negates his Shaddoll Construct's effect and lowers his attack. And then also I can just bring this back later when he special summons another monster. But then I see a BLS hit the field. And he is putting me on a 1-turn clock. And I top deck a DD Crow. Doesn't do me much at all. So I just normal summon my Dragunity Senatus, beat over the Construct, and just pass it over and hope that the DD Crow can buy me a turn until I can top deck something brilliant. So I DD Crow his Falco effect when he was trying to special summon the Construct. He normal summons Mathematician. So, he's just off to the races once again, sending an Electromagnetic Turtle of all things. But it doesn't matter, he has BLS, so he's able to kill me quite easily.
There are no strings on me.
Game 2, match 2, yay! We lost our first match to a meta tier threat, and we open crap in match 2, just setting a Koos. We just have to hope that we don't get OTK'd, and we see a Super Quant Red Layer hit the field, and then a Reasoning fired off, and this monstrosity of looks like a 60-card deck. Turns out it's Infernoble Knight, so we just went from one rogue strategy to a tier 1 meta threat. Luckily, though, I have a Ghost Ogre in hand, which is able to stop his Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles. Even though he gets rid of my Koos, it is now in the graveyard, which means if I draw a Dux, that Dux is now live. And he just sinks in some damage with his Mechaphana Beast and the Olivier. But I top deck the card that I needed. I top deck a Dux. ducks bring out my Koos, which then I special summon, and then I go into a Lanfarincus because now I can flex off the new tech that I've added into the deck, World Legacy World Crown, which does provide me with a negate. Lanfarincus speaks over his Infernoble, and then we just pass it over and just hope that that one negate can do something. He normal summons Feet Blossom and goes into Needle Fiber, which is perfect time for me to fire off my one negate, and that actually pays off. My gamble paid off, and I actually draw a quick Rocket Synchron, which allows me to special summon my Apsarouter. Then I go into Cyframe Lord Omega. I get a search off Apsarouter, which gets me Boot Sector Launch, which I can special summon Tracer. Tracer can pop the Boot Sector. I can go into Silver Rocket. Then I can go into Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. I can swing in for a whole bunch of damage. Then main phase 2, I decide to activate Scarlet Red Dragon's effect. But then I forget Lanfarincus is a non-effect monster, so he doesn't get destroyed. So I am 300 shy of game, but it's okay. I am in the driver's seat. I hope all I have to do is that he doesn't have a blowout turn that can just completely turn the tides of the duel. I just have to hang on with my 2 monsters on field. But this isn't for Noble Knight, so I am slightly worried because, you know, we're playing a tier 1 deck and we're going up with a subpar Dragunity deck. However, he is not able to get anything past. All he can do is deal with my Lanfarincus, and all I have to do is move to battle phase, and we take the first match. We take the first game in match 2 against a tier 1 meta deck. I feel so good, so confident. And now he's going first. So, luckily though, I have sided for going second, so I have stuff to deal with. The equip spells, so if I can turn off his Immortal Phoenix Gearfried and any kinds of other pesky negates, just removing those equips for his advantage that the deck is able to generate. And pretty much we're just witnessing him pop off. I have no response because the Aqua Dolphin was essentially able to rip out my Effect Veiler at the beginning, meaning that it's basically a dead card. So yeah, he already establishes a Herald of the Arclight, which definitely does hurt my deck because I rely on the graveyard in order to get synergy with stuff like Apsarouter Dragon or special summoning a Koos with a Dux or a Senatus. But luckily, that does enable my Dragon Shrine to become a Gold Sark, which banishes my Tempest, and he has to negate that. So luckily, that leaves me room to pop on off. Unfortunately, though, I don't have much follow-up, so I just go to battle phase, and I'm able to clear out a handful of monsters, including the Herald of the Arclight, which would hopefully turn on my deck for future turns if I am able to survive, that is, because all I'm looking at is a Silver Rocket and a Cosmic Cyclone, which I'm able to banish one of his equips. However, he's still able to go into Isolde, which means he can still pop off, add more monsters in game advantage. He's using E-Telly to bring out the Gamma so that he can go into Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker is then able to beef himself up to 4,300. He takes my Silver Rocket. Actually, he had game, but he didn't have to take the Silver Rocket. I Kaiju his Gearfried, but I'd have no follow-up, so I just kill myself. Game 3. It all depends on this. I side for going first, and I have my Ducks plays. I have plenty of plays to go through until I get hit with the hand trap of the format in Gamma, and that basically stops me completely in my tracks. It turns off both of my World Crowns, and I just set up for future turns, hoping that I can survive by sending an Apsarouter and grabbing a Rocket Synchron. But with a set Call by the Grave as my only form of interaction, I highly doubt that I'm going to be able to stop him from building pretty much a very strong board. I just have to hope that he does not have 7,500 points of damage, because I was burned at the beginning of the duel with the Neospatian Aqua Dolphin. But it's pretty much just similar to how it went in Game 1 when he was starting to pop off, or Game 2 and build his board. And he uses a Power Tool Dragon to grab a DDR, which then he can extend even further. And then using Martial Metal Marcher to bring out the Plague Spreader, which I tried to banish with the Called by the Grave to slow him down, to prevent him from reaching the Halka Firebrax, which he eventually does reach regardless. He goes into Borrelord, he brings out Mechaphanabisa Rorodon, and yeah, this goes out like that.
Long live the king.
We lost to 2 meta decks. And it's only fitting that we go up against another meta deck for the final match. So for our remote duel for today's episode, we are going up against Zodiac. And yeah, I lost the die roll, so he's going first, and I have no interruptions in my hand. And yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be great. So I open things off with a terraforming. I add myself a Dragon Ravine, activating the Ravine, which then goes through. I discard my Koos, which he's just asking what Koos's effect is. And then he Dryden pops the Ravine, which prevents the search because it was no longer on the field. But luckily I have a Senatus in hand, so I normal summon the Senatus, pitching an Ankylos to equip a Koos from the deck. Yeah, and I get hit with a Punishment, which sends an Int, and then the Int destroys my Senatus, and he pops my field, leaving me wide open. This is not good. Not good at all. I just can't seem to deal with too many disruption interaction in terms of popping. I'm able to grab my Tempest, which I'm able to special summon out, and he pops it with a Trident, leaving me once again with an open field. And all he has to do is accumulate 3,800 points worth of damage. He brings out the Megaclops, and yeah, we go straight to game 2. So I'm going first this time around. I search my Boot Sector launch because in my hand, I have access essentially to the Rocket portion of my deck. I don't see any Dragunity cards. So in this instance, I decide to, you know what, let's build as much of a field as possible. Unfortunately, I'm stuck one extender short, so all I can really do is make a Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend and pass. He hits me with he starts a thing off with a Tenki, and then he just goes through my plays, Trident, pop the Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, leaving me with just a Rocket Synchron. I DD Crow his Trident because I know it's a 1-of, so that way I don't have to worry about Trident constantly popping everything. And Vespinato swings in over my Rocket Synchron, leaving me with 5,500 life points. I open up with the Dragon Shrine. I get hit with a Solemn Judgment. After the duel, he told me that this deck took first place at his remote duel locals, and he runs a heavy trap lineup. So I'm not surprised in the slightest that I got clapped badly. So, when we go and face up a bunch of meta opponents, we get destroyed. No wins under our belt today. We did get one win during one of our matches, but that barely affects our record, and we need change.
And that's going to do it for today's episode, you guys. Yeah, we need some new cards in the card pool, because my ideas only kind of work, but not really, because we just lost 3 matches. And anyway, yeah. We've got to get some new additions. We've got to get a Phalanx. We've got to get a Divine Lance. We've got to get a Gator. We've got a lot of cards on our list that we need to hunt down and we need to pull. And we'll get there. Slowly but surely, we will pull those short prints. I will see you guys in the next episode.